Hello, Earth Angels, and welcome back to the Alignment Academy podcast. It's your host, Kristen, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited that we get to embark on this journey together. I love talking about all things business, mindset, spirituality. I'm super passionate about helping you step into your soul's purpose and stop letting fear hold you back from living the life you love. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. It's going to be a very juicy one. We're going to be talking about steps to becoming a full-time spiritual coach. I know there's a lot of baby entrepreneurs in here, aspiring entrepreneurs, or just entrepreneurs. No matter where you're at in your journey, this is going to really help you solidify what needs to happen next in order for you to, I'll say, reach your 5K month, because that's what I'm really great at teaching entrepreneurs to do, is to master the 5K month, master all the things that need to be done. So I'm excited to get into it. I have my first retreat of 2024 happening this weekend. It is Tuesday when I'm recording this. I leave on Thursday. I have been absolutely swamped with life and work. I'm in the process of buying a new car, which is super exciting. Just packing. It has been like the craziest week over here. But I was talking to Brianna and I was like, honestly, even though like life is so crazy and busy right now, like this is my dream. This is what I wanted. I want to be busy doing dope shit. And the fact that like this is the stuff that I'm busy in, I'm not complaining at all. But nonetheless, I am like a little stressed out, but it's all good things. The girls that are coming to Joshua Tree, if you haven't kind of seen me promote that, they are doing a mushroom ceremony. Whenever you do mushrooms, like the mushrooms start working with you far before the actual ceremony. It's like the ceremony starts before it actually starts. So there's been crazy synchronicities happening in our little group container. And I just love retreats because you get that in-person connection, which really just, even with all the technology and the online stuff, you just can't recreate it in the way that you can in retreat spaces. So I'm so excited. You'll hear more about that. Maybe I'll do a little recap when I get back from my trip next week. But if you are interested in coming on one of my retreats, the last one that I have planned for this year is in May in Costa Rica. It's going to be by application or invite only. This is called Cosmic CEO, and it's a retreat that is going to help you step into your next level, your next, identity. This is for entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs that are, ready to up level, ready to have fun, ready to meet their soul family. We're going to be nestled in the jungles of Costa Rica, having so much fun, dance parties, healing, talking business, strategy, fun, branding, all of the things. We're bringing in some amazing guests to come. So if you are interested, DM me on Instagram, say Cosmic CEO, and I will give you more information on that. But yeah, that's the latest and greatest. Definitely just the top two things are retreat and my newest manifestation of a car. So more to come on that, but let's go ahead and get into it. So today I really want to cover when the right time to become a full-time coach is and what you have to do that. I get this question all the time in my DMs of like, what's the first step to start? I'm going to say the simplest and most profound thing on this whole episode right now is you just start. But I know that people want a more detailed breakdown. So let's go ahead and start. What is a coach? A coach is someone who helps someone else get from point A to point B in the fastest, easiest, least painful way possible. Now, I'm going to be really clear. Coaches are not necessary. However, they save a lot of time, and time is the one resource we don't have a lot of in life. And so in my experience, whenever I hire a coach, it's because I am not mastered in this thing that I need to be mastered in, and I would like to learn from someone who has already been through the journey, again, in the fastest, easiest way possible, and in a way that is not going to cause me to struggle for 3 or 4 years straight. And that's really why I coach, is like, I know that I can help entrepreneurs build their coaching business, hit their first 5K month. And you know what? I know you could probably do it on your own, but if you work with me, you could maybe try for 1.5 years, and I can cut down that time to 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. How much time, how much money do you make back by getting things quicker? So no matter what you want to coach in, you are helping someone get from point A to point B in the fastest, quickest way possible. The first thing that you really need to decide on is what you want to coach on, right? This to me feels like the hardest and the easiest part because number one, it is going to come from your soul curriculum. And this is something that sets me apart from all the other business coaches is I teach building a business from the soul. It's not like I tell people to look out into the market and see where there's a gap like most coaches. No, I'm like, let's look inside and see what are the most painful, most transformative things that I have been through, and let's teach that. Because if you've gotten on the other side of the most painful thing you've gone through, you've already just took a masterclass in that thing, whether it's breakups, whether it's building a business, whether it's finding your soul purpose. You have been through it and you know the process. And so you could help someone do that. The one thing I do want to say is you have to make sure that you're teaching something that you've already mastered and not just something that you're excited about. I just really have seen this a lot where somebody learns something new. That's something they've been interested in for 6 months. And they're like, actually, I want to be a coach on this. I need to change my entire niche. And I'm like, wait, let's, take a step back. Let's take a breather. That feels like something that you're really interested and excited about and not something that you've fully mastered in this lifetime. And the reason that we have to make sure that we're teaching something that we've mastered is because embodiment can be felt, and really you are selling yourself online. If you want to become a coach, you are the personal brand, you are the thing that people are buying, and you have to be the embodiment of that transformation, right? You have to be the living, breathing embodiment of the transformation you're selling. I am selling a transformation of confidence and a thriving business and doing the inner work to grow your business. And behind the scenes, I am fully embodying that version of myself. I have no imposter syndrome either because it's just who I am. I'm just selling who I already am and the person that I've become on the way. I've been interested in this year, like astrology and quantum physics, but I haven't taught any of that yet because that feels like something I'm excited about and not something that I've mastered. So one thing that you do want to be wary of on your journey as a coach is just making sure you're not getting caught up in shiny object syndrome, meaning you teach something, you create this program, maybe it doesn't go how you want it to go, and then you just move on to the next thing. Like that is not what needs to really happen. You need to master selling that first program that you've already mastered doing that. And then in a couple years, you can move on to the next thing when you've mastered something else. I think this takes a lot of discernment as well, right? A lot of times we have to just be discerning of like, you know what, I'm not ready to teach this yet, but maybe one day I will be. And then when you do decide what you want to coach on, it's really about looking at your journey and trying to pinpoint those different levels or those different things that you had to master to get from point A to point B. And those are the things that you're going to end up teaching. And those are the modules in your program or how you're going to facilitate another person's transformation. So it might be based on your own transformation. It might be a blend of some modalities that you've learned. It might just be a blend of everything. For me, my biggest thing that has helped me get from point A to point B is inner child work, right? So inner child work is one of the pillars of all my programs because it's helped me heal my perfectionism, my procrastination, my fear of being seen. It's helped me do identity work, heal my father wound. Like it's helped me do so much. So whatever I'm teaching, I will almost like tailor my modality to that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about certifications because this is another big question I get. People always ask me, Kristen, what certifications have you taken? What certifications have you done? And I'm going to be very, very honest. I probably have taken a lot less than you guys think. I actually took one that my sister went through before I started my coaching business, and I ended up not finishing it because it was so invaluable. It was basically teaching me how to have productive conversations and do like active listening, which I already knew how to do because I just had that skill to begin with. And so I'm going to say that certifications are a big topic and I want to kind of just unpack all of it. So the first thing that we need to get clear on is if what you want to coach on, you legally need a certification, right? So to give someone financial advice or to give someone nutritional advice, you might need a nutrition certification or a finance degree or something like that to give people advice. So you do want to research most certifications and see like, is this necessary? And if it is, then you want to start there, right? I think a lot of health coaches go through like IIN or something like that. And that's a great place to start, especially if you're teaching something that you need to be certified in. The thing about when we get into life coaching, spiritual coaching, even business coaching, is that there is no governing body. So even if you're paying for this beautiful $40,000 certification, yes, there's very expensive certifications for life coaching. And this is something that my clients have told me. It's not something that I have looked at on my own, but they're like, Kristen, they can be up to like $40,000. Really, really, I would look into see if you really, 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 really need that. Because again, there's no governing body. So there's not really one certification that is like the best, if that makes sense. Because all of these certifications are essentially like self-made certifications. It's like someone like me or you who have mastered something, creating a certification program. The thing about becoming a life coach, becoming a spiritual coach, is I do think that the best coaches are not people who learned what they're teaching from a certification. It is probably their life experience and their own inner wisdom. A lot of people ask me, what spiritual school did you go to? What life coaching thing did you go to? And I told you guys about the one that I never finished, but you guys already know I've been on this spiritual journey since I was 17 years old. I've worked with shamans, I've worked with intuitives, I've worked with psychics, I've worked with therapists, I worked with coaches, I've done certifications, I've done it all. And now my programs are a blend of literally like 10 different modalities that I've just been studying in myself for over 10 years. You know what I mean? It's like a blend of all the things that have worked for me. And it's not from one person. It's not from one thing. It's just my own innate wisdom and knowledge and all the things that I've learned blended. I think it's kind of funny when people ask where they should get their life coaching certification, because at the end of the day, isn't it really just life that you're going to get your certification from? Like that's probably the biggest place. And you really want to learn how to master whatever you're teaching in that modality. I always kind of recommend asking yourself, like, why do I want this certification? Is it because it's needed? Is it because I'm actually not competent in what I want to teach? Or is it because I don't feel good enough? And the reason I want to bring this up is because I do see, because I work with a lot of people who struggle with procrastination and perfectionism and imposter syndrome, there can kind of be a path of like getting too many certifications before actually just fucking doing it, right? You don't need 3, 4, 5 certifications before you start a life coaching business. And I'm going to stand behind that. You need a lot of fucking self-trust. You need a lot of courage, and you need maybe 1 or 2 good certifications or modalities, maybe, depending on your life path, right? Depending on how knowledgeable you are, how long you've been on this path, what you want to teach. If you're teaching something that's like trauma informed or somatic, then you might want to take something that has a trauma informed aspect or a somatic work aspect, right? And this brings me to my next point of like, I would almost recommend more so getting certified in skill sets or modalities, because on the journey to whatever transformation you're selling, I'm sure that you used some modality that someone taught you, whether it's breath work, whether it's inner child work, whether it's somatic release, whatever that is, you probably used a modality. And if you want to teach that modality, that would probably be a better use of your time and money, is like getting certified in that modality so that you can use that as a means to the transformation that you're going to give your clients. So to kind of wrap up the whole certification talk, I think what you need to do is you need to research your field of what you want to do and see what is necessary. Kind of tap into your intuition. And like, for example, if you want to teach inner child work, if you want to teach, again, somatic experiencing, maybe use your time to go get certified in something like that, NLP, things like that, to use that modality in your coaching business. So the first part of, starting a coaching business is obviously deciding what you want to coach on, getting the correct certifications. We'll call that part 1. The part 2 is really just starting. This is just starting the business. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. And this is so funny because people kind of overcomplicate this, I think, more than is needed. So I'm just going to tell you what I did. I am quickly interrupting this episode to remind you guys that if you're a listener, which clearly you are, I have created a free meditation for all of you. This meditation was built out of my rock bottom when I needed to trust the universe and release a lot of anxiety I was feeling, and I didn't know how. So I learned how to trust the universe, and I'm going to teach you how in this meditation. It's really practicing this feeling of being held and supported and remembering that you actually are held and supported by the universe in every single moment. All you have to do to get this meditation is to rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on, and then go ahead and head over to my podcast Instagram at Alignment Academy Podcast. Give it a follow, and then message me on there with a screenshot of your rating or review, whatever platform you're listening on, and I will send you the meditation. Okay, now back to the episode. After I finished that life coaching certification that I didn't actually finish, I was like, okay, let's start this thing. Now, if I were you, I would first step, decide if you want to use your old Instagram account or create a new account. At the time, I created a new account, but you have to be discerning. There's a lot of factors that go into that. If you need to decide on that, that's something that we can talk about if you book a call with me or, you're in one of my coaching programs. But that would be the first step, is choosing which account you need to use. The second step is simple. It's start posting content, right? Just start posting. And some people are like, Kristen, what? I need more direction. What do I start posting? Blah, blah, blah. If I were you, I would just pick 30 days and say, I'm just going to post one thing that feels inspiring every day, just to get into the flow of posting, learn Instagram, learn how to post, learn what it feels like to show up as a coach. Literally just get your feed filled up, because also when you actually are ready, which is not going to be the first day that you start your Instagram account, you don't want an empty account, right? You want to look like you've been doing some stuff for some time. If I were you, I would pick 30 days and every single day I would commit to posting a reel or an infographic, and just get used to learning how to teach content, learning how to find your voice, learning how to record content, learning how to use the app. 30 days, you're going to be a lot more coherent in Instagram or TikTok than you are on day one. So the second step is to start posting content. After you're comfortable, this is going to be where you're going to want a little bit refinement. I would say this would be the point where you need to hire a business coach. You need to hire a mentor, hire someone to help you with the content and the strategy to go on the journey, right? Because the truth is do you guys really think that you could coach if you've never been coached? You learn so many valuable lessons being in a coaching container. You learn the things that you do like. You learn the things that you don't like. You learn how the coach runs their program. You learn what platforms they use. You learn how you enrolled in the program, and you can kind of like take notes during your whole process of enrolling with a coach to see how you want to run your coaching business. So after I did that first two steps, deciding what I want to coach on, starting the Instagram, that's when I enrolled in my first coaching program. This was when COVID hit. I had no income. I spent $5,000. I probably had like 10,000 to my name, or maybe even 8,000 to my name. And I invested it and I started working with a coach. And this is when I learned how to create my signature offer, which is going to be the next step for you. After you have started your Instagram, you've been posting consistently, you know what you want to coach on, you have your niche. Now it's time to build an offering, build the thing that you are going to sell. I always recommend starting with one high ticket offer. This is what I call to my clients the rent payer. It's going to be $1,500 to $5,000. And this is like, you don't need a lot to sell a lot of these to probably replace your corporate income, right? I mean, even if you sell 3 at $2,500, that's $7,500, right? But that's the point, is that this is going to be your main transformation that you're going to be known for, that you're going to sell, that's going to be high ticket. And now you don't have to worry about selling all these separate little things. Like if you have $100 offer to replace your corporate income, like you're probably going to have to sell like 400 of those, right? Like that's a lot to try to sell, especially as a new coach. Whereas like if you have that high ticket offer, you only have to sell a few to replace the corporate income a month. So that's really what you want to start to do, is create the signature offer. I'm going to do a shameless plug. This is what I teach in Soulful Strategy, my 5-month mentorship. We have one starting this week that you could hop in if you are really quick to listening to this. I also run this program 4 times a year. It's a group program, and I help coaches build their coaching business from the ground up and reach their first 5K month with one signature offer. The beautiful thing about Soulful Strategy and what I teach in this is we find your niche, we master content, we learn how to sell, we learn how to show up on Instagram, we learn how to create your signature offer. All of the things is these are strategies and these are tools and these are marketing materials that you're going to be able to use when you scale even bigger. I have used these same principles that I teach to master 5K months, to master 20K months, to master now into 30K months. And so it really is about mastering the basics and learning how to sell one thing. Once you learn how to sell one thing, you can start to add more things into the things that you're going to sell. And if you've noticed in my business, I'm really only selling 2 things at once. It's not like I have all these mini offers and all these master classes and all these things. No, I focus my energy on a couple high ticket offers, and that's really where I make my money. And then I have like a very low meditations, some master classes a couple times a year, but I really focus on high ticket. And that's what I recommend for you too, because it's such a sustainable way to scale your business. And now I feel like you guys have most of the information. Really, to kind of recap it, it's decide that you want to be a coach, get any certifications you need, if any, do your own research on that, and then start posting content. And then my recommendation is to work with a business coach, because honestly, like, you're probably not going to be able to be successful in a business that you've literally never done. It just kind of like, I don't know, logic. Now I want to go over some things that I don't recommend, just some caveats as you embark on your journey. The first thing is trying to teach something that you haven't done or haven't mastered at all, right? Like, you're not going to just start a business and then be a business coach. You haven't even been in the business and you don't know actually how to scale the business. So you probably couldn't teach someone else to do that. You're not even going to be able to make curriculum because you don't even know what goes in it. So just make sure, going back to my first point in the beginning of the episode, that you're teaching something that you genuinely have truly mastered. The next thing is, don't take a course and then just copy it from the coach, right? You do not want to plagiarize, and you don't want to just use what you've learned from one coach. Like I mentioned, maybe you take a course and you got an amazing transformation, but then you go do your own research. You take another course and you blend some modalities and take things from this and that, but you do not want to copy one person. It's just not embodied, and it's not going to get you as far as if you make the curriculum from your soul, because again, embodiment cannot be faked. It can't. So when you create something that's super authentic to you, that vibration is going to go out and really, really be felt. Don't just do this for the money either. Like, I'm going to say that building a coaching business is actually very fucking hard. It's not that easy. It really takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of self-belief, a lot of commitment when it's not working. And I think that there's easier ways to make a buck, truly. Like, if you want to just make 10K months and go sit on vacation, open an e-commerce store, open Amazon storefront, do TikTok shop. Like, there's so many easier ways, in my opinion, to start a coaching business. So really kind of look inward and ask yourself, like, why do I actually want to start this business? Because if your why is not deep enough, when the going gets tough, when it's not working, which will always seemingly be not working in the beginning, because it's just hard to start this business. You have to have a lot of grit. You're going to get super discouraged, and you're probably not going to have a reason to go on because your why isn't that deep. One of the first things I do in all my programs is get clear on the why, because it has to be like really, really deep for you to keep going when it gets painful, when it gets hard, when you're getting made fun of. All those things, they really, really hurt. And the truth is that if you're doing this right, it is a full-time job. Like, I work probably more than I worked at my corporate job, but I love it. And I also am building a couple businesses right now, so it makes sense. But coaching business is a lot more work inside than looks on the surface. And just kind of piggybacking off of that, you can make a lot of money in this industry. I'm not going to lie. It's my favorite industry because, there's duality to it. It's weird because there's no governing body, but that also means that you make your own rules. There's no cap on your income. You do whatever the fuck you want, right? I love that about it. And the truth is that this industry requires so much spiritual growth, so much dedication, so many late nights. And it is something that is like a soul calling. It's like, if this is for you, you will know deep in your soul that there's no other option for you, and you should be guiding people towards a transformation. And I'm just going to say a point that I kind of have mentioned already, but I think becoming a coach before you have ever been coached is really hard. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's really hard because first, you don't really know how the process works because you've never been like a coachee, you've never been in a container. And I think it's really kind of hard to fully ask someone to give you money when you've never really spent money investing in yourself. It's hard to ask someone, hey, invest in me. This is going to be worth it, when you don't actually know that it's been worth it for you in the past. But when you have invested and you've seen your own transformation by working with a coach, it's so much easier to be like, I know that if you give me your all, I'm going to give you my all, and we are going to transform your life. We're going to get you to the other side of whatever they're dealing with. So I think it's just important to really ask yourself, if I want to be a coach, why haven't I invested yet? If I want to be a coach, why haven't I been willing to put myself in those shoes? Because I'm never going to be able to attract people that will invest in me if I don't invest in myself, because the universe is just a mirror. I think that's really a good kind of recap and place to start. If you guys have any follow-up questions, we could do a follow-up episode. So feel free to, send them into Alignment Academy podcast, send me a DM and tell me what you thought of this episode. If you want to join Soulful Strategy or book a one-on-one call, you can definitely do so. I'll put all the links in the show notes below. But I had so much fun hanging out with you guys today. Hope you learned a lot as always. Thank you for coming to Alignment Academy School, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.